I'm Lina. I'm a co-founder of Smarts of Visuals, and I've been running this business with my partner for 7 years now, which is quite a lot. So we've grown from the startup to a small business. Um, I've actually graduated from interior design and architecture, but my passion was always arts. But I thought that to begin with, I want to incorporate some more technical skills to broaden my knowledge of the design itself. So I took upon this interior design and architecture course. That was my bachelor's degree. Before that, I did art and media design foundation. And even earlier, when I was a teenager, I graduated from art school. So that's my background. It was pretty clear where I wanted to go and what was my direction as a creative. But the reason why this business started was basically trying to help businesses communicate their ideas through visuals. And I could even say that complex ideas, complex content, simplified and turned into visuals. So we brought kind of this artistic flair into businesses, and now we work with companies like Ernst & Young, LinkedIn, BT, you name it. I mean, lots of great clients are on our list, and it keeps expanding. And not only we work in the UK, we also broaden the spectrum in the whole Europe and the world.
So with International Women's Day, it's always a day in the year that's a mark in the calendar to, really celebrate the amazing work of women globally and to articulate issues with women's rights globally in kind of a changing world that we're in. I guess for you, how do you, obviously, but a lot of people don't necessarily need a day, it's a yearly, it's all year round. We're celebrating the amazing work of women around us.
Well, I wish it was like that every day.
Interesting. So yes, but so for you as a company and you as a founder, how do you champion kind of the work of the women in your life or people who inspire you? And then I guess in terms of communications design or visual design kind of generally, how as an industry could that do more to support women in the industry?
So I guess we are actually female-driven organization, female-driven business. We've started off with 3 female co-founders, and all the employees after that came in were all females. And it was probably a coincidence or a very kind of subconscious thing that we brought only female into business. But me and my co-founder, my co-founder and I, we do really, feel that we want to embrace this age of female power. And that's why we took employees that were creative, talented females as well. So that proved itself really well. And since then, we were trying to promote business through the kind of the direction of female entrepreneurship. And we got interest from a lot of different brands and organizations that are female driven as well. So I think from the broader scope and the broader perspective, the world is turning into a bit more open approach in terms of the equality of sexes. And it's definitely trendy to be an entrepreneur female or a female-driven business. I think it's becoming too loud sometimes.
Interesting.
But on the other hand, it's great because I'm female, and a lot of my great friends are powerful and interesting female that are doing great things. So it's beautiful, and I think we should all embrace it.
So I am gender equality was the tag for the last International Women's Day, or the theme, I should say, rather than the tag. With regards to that as a word, equality, how does what does equality sort of mean to your practice and your work at this moment? What do you sort of, how does that interface, and what things do you think we could do to improve kind of equality globally?
First of all, everybody should understand that talent and basic capabilities of people, of professionals, cannot be based and separated by gender. We are all in one pool. We are all exposed to information. We can all get exactly the same education. And I think females sometimes, especially these days, may even overgrow male, because maybe that's also kind of subconscious thing. Maybe it's in our genes to strive more and trying to achieve what we want to achieve, because our history already proved us that, you know, it doesn't matter how much we wanted to be educated, we just couldn't a few hundred years ago, but now we can do it. And I think that kind of power that is within us has been brought from history, and that's why there are so many great female examples these days that are doing great things and leading global organizations, that are CEOs of the companies, and it's definitely changing.
You sort of mentioned history and sort of looking back. Obviously, your life growing up, in terms of the inspirational women in your life, whether it was family or friends or teachers or whatever it might have been, what sort of life lessons or guidance did they instill upon you that you think to this day you still draw upon that to you know, achieve and do the work that you do?
Sure. I think I've had a really great variety of female in my family and in my environment. They were very different from the role models of the best mom, who is very feminine and taking care of everybody, and almost like giving away her free time just to serve the people around her and make them happy, because if she can make, you know, her children happy and her husband happy, then she becomes happy. To the women like the career-driven women, like my auntie, that never had a family, but also, but always was focusing on herself and the experiences in her life. Always admired Parisian culture, and which we all know of is a very kind of also female orientated, very, very feminine. So that, and I remember the phrase that she told me one day. She said, as much as you care, or as much as other people care about the outer beauty of women or human beings, always focus on yourself from within, and you must educate yourself. So kind of skip the beauty, focus on what's good inside you.
Amazing. That's a beautiful sentiment to have so early on in life. Do you still, is it grown in terms of its resonance to you? Because obviously that's quite a grand thing.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I think it's one of the biggest things actually that I still carry from my childhood, and I still come back to it. Obviously, you know, with challenges that life brings you, it's sometimes difficult to keep coming back to the things that mattered some time ago. But I think as the basis of my early teenage years, that was a very important message delivered to me, and that definitely was my motto for some time, especially throughout the years of education, at university years.
So looking at now, you know, really bringing it forward to the kind of modern day, those lessons you've learned, your experiences, what are the sort of challenges that are top of the list as a founder in 2020? Obviously, maybe slightly before the kind of current climate that we found ourselves in, but what do you find are the things that you struggle with the most?
I think there are different struggles in different sectors of business. I guess if we took the current pandemic situation, I think that's a great challenge these days. And thinking of how our business could innovate and turn their products to be useful in 2020 or 2021, it's going to be the biggest task for us. And I think we already have some ideas how this could commence itself and prove itself. But let's see what happens. I think marketing will have to do a lot with it, since we haven't been doing so much marketing and we are mostly organically grown business. We'll have to start looking into it and educating our clients with our even kind of more niche of a product at the same time. And from the people perspective, I think it's not going to change much for us because our work is remote, it's digital. We've already been running in that way. It's just for one service that we provide, the live scribing at events, where we have to physically be at the location. So that will have to turn to a virtual way, virtual kind of option.
You sort of talked there about kind of, I guess, educating your clients and I guess as an educational tool, whether it's illustration, graphic design, mural design, or at the events. You know, I've seen some amazing work being done by creatives in that space in light of what's happening. Obviously, pre that, it's still an amazing visual design is you know, so key to education. Like, how important is the role of education in the kind of design work that you do?
In terms of education, I think this word has two meanings: education, educating young people, and educating people in the work environment. So educating people in the work environment, it's our key business driver. This is where our business is based on. This is what our business is based on, because what we do initially, we transmit the very important concepts of our clients to their audiences through visuals. So we work with content that is there to educate, no matter it's whether it's internally or externally delivered. So this is what drives our business forward, and I think our clients also understand the importance.
And so in the journey of, you're saying, of 7 years of, you know, being a startup to a small medium enterprise and being at this stage now, what have been the, I guess, whether it might be personal communities, it might be business support communities, entrepreneur communities, what sort of communities have helped you to become the company and the founder that you are, and how have they supported you?
In the very beginning, we've actually joined a very small office in London Fields, East London, and I can't remember the name. Oh, actually I do. It's called Mentmore Studios. So a few weeks ago, I've driven through that place. It's just nearby London Field Station, and I've seen it grown to something a bit more modern, kind of a lofty type conversion, which I was very happy about, because where I remember it was 5-6 years ago, it's changed a lot. So that was our beginning, and then from that we went to apply for the RISE application. It was a Barclays Startup Accelerator program, which we joined, and usually they support the financial startups, but they did an exclusion, and they actually invited us as a creative startup to be in the scene of kind of financial startups. So we spent a year or two in that area, in that shared workspace. They were actually organizing a lot of events, and we did participate in those. We also worked with Barclays, provided service to them, and had quite great contact list from that workspace, its client basis. And after that, obviously, we've joined Trampery Republic since the very beginning, since the very opening of Trampery Republic in East India. And it was a beautiful journey since then. We were one of the first ones to join. all the events were great. Obviously, you guys are great. I think community is really kind of, it's really friendly. It's very warm environment. And then I did the Trampery Pathways Accelerator. That obviously helped a lot in understanding the strategic side of things in business.
So lastly, before obviously I'm precious of time, I know you're very busy. With your, we kind of touched on familial history, business, a lot of different kind of areas. I guess quite a cliche question, but if you could sit in a room with your 16-year-old self and give yourself some advice to kind of go on with in kind of from the present day experience that you have, what would be some of the kind of wisdom that you would impart upon a younger version of you to give them some semblance of peace about the journey ahead?
I have a lot of advices. That's my cat. I think my recent realization and the strongest one was that you have to always remember to come back to your true self, and don't be a workaholic. First of all, I think that doesn't help anybody, because the consequences of that are, we all know what I mean, the health, the mental state, that can be reflected in your team's work and efficiency. So mindfulness, being mindful and doing things with an easy flow, I think is very important. And mindfulness in a way as a lifestyle should be taken by every leader and every business founder, I think. So this is my biggest advice. Don't overwork. Always remember to come back to mindfulness and love yourself at the end of the day, because you're giving away so much to other people.
Absolutely.
But first of all, it has to be you. So then you can start. You start from within.